And welcome back, YouTube. Today I would like to share some thoughts with you about the second season of True Detective. And spoiler alert, of course, because I'm probably going to talk about the ending as well. So bear with me. I'm going to ramble a bit, probably. But I'll try to keep this short. First of all, the general impression I had of the second season was that it was a good season. Not as great as the first season, but I felt it was a good season. And it started off intriguing with the murder of Casper, the financial associate of mobster Frank. I'll be talking about that later on. And that was intriguing, but I think it was kind of badly resolved in the end. Now, I do understand that the whole murder mystery was a way to take off the lid of the whole shit house, or how you say it, the bucket full of shit that is the city of Vinci, with all the corruption and the whoring and the money laundering and whatever. So I understand that the murder was sort of a catalyst for that, but I always like stories that have this whodunit thing going on, and the whole murder thing was in the last episode, in the finale, was kind of resolved in a bad way, because I had no feelings, or I could not relate to any of these two characters, the sister and the brother, who turned out were the murder, or at least the brother was the murderer of Casper. And he must have had his reasons, because his mother was, or their mother was, abused or something like that. But as a viewer, I had not spent any quality time with these two characters, and I already forgot them, actually. They only showed them in a couple of episodes, maybe one or two, but I think only one, especially the dude who turned out to be one of the assistant at a movie set, something like that. But I totally forgot about him, and that's basically a bit of the problem I had with the second season, is that there were too many characters introduced, and we're only given a little time to show, and so there was no connection with me as a viewer, but they kept talking about these characters throughout the series, and I was like, who was that? You know, so I had to look up the wiki or on the internet who these characters were. So I think the second season was somewhat needlessly more complex and confusing, but you know, I understand that the plot has to thicken, and there are different plot lines and stories going on, and so I do understand it, but it was needlessly complex at some point. Now, let's talk about the characters. First of all, I think that Colin Farrell really proved himself to be a great actor. I think he portrayed Ray Volcaro amazingly. The drunkard of a cop / detective / whatever he was, you know, with his personal problems and the fight over the custody of his son. I mean, this dude had a lot of problems, but still, and that's really the great thing about the series, that still I felt for him somehow. He was a really tragic character, but there was something in him that I could relate to, having a son myself, him going to the playground, watching his son, and just, you know, he could have fled, but decided, no, I'm not going to do this. Going to go to the playfields, watch my son play, and have another glance of contact that felt heartwarming. So a tragic character, but very well portrayed by Colin Farrell. So props to him. I did not felt the same for the Woodruff or Wood something policeman who was in the closet with his sexuality and whatever that was. I think that was a needless character. The series didn't need 3 cops. They should have stuck with 2, with Annie, the woman, and Ray, because they had this really good chemistry going on, but only in the end, actually. I would have liked their relationship to sort of grow from the beginning to the end, but now it was sort of rushed. And again, the show didn't need a 3rd cop involved. It made the show yet again more complex. But it was okay, but not as great as but because the first season there were only 2 cops as well, so I would have liked to have Ray and Annie. Now Annie I think is really a good character. She had a really bad childhood and stuff, so she had issues herself. Ray had issues, so I could understand that there was sort of a chemistry going on between the 2. So yeah. So let's talk about Frank. Frank the mobster. Amazing character. And amazingly well played by Vince Vaughn, or whatever his name is. Great actor. Great character. Just cold-blooded, badass dude. But still sympathetic in a way with his relationship with his wife and their wish to have a child and all that. That made him human, basically, but still he was doing bad things to a lot of bad people. So that was amazing, and the way, now I'm going to talk about the ending as well, the way they ended these characters. They were really tragic characters, of course, and it had to end bad for them, except for Annie, but for Ray and Frank. And they had both great scenes, one in the forest, the other one in the desert. Frank, mortally wounded, still walking, wanting to get out of the desert, standing tall, and basically fighting off the ghosts of his past enemies. That was an amazing scene. Ray being chased in the woods by the police guys, also amazing, but somewhat unbelievable. Why? Because his car was bugged. They could have arrested Ray just at the schoolyard or the playground. Didn't have to chase him out of the city, but it probably has something to do with the fact that Ray just wanted the cops on his tail just to give Annie the chance to take the boat to Venezuela, I think. So I could understand that, but if I were Ray, I would dump the car somewhere as soon as possible, somewhere in a place, I don't know, parking garage or something like that, and just switch cars. But I think he just decided, you know what, I'm just going to lure them away from the city, let them chase me, and get it over with. And that happened. So, but in a way, like, he went out guns blazing, and that was cool. So, yeah. Now, a good season, but there's stuff I didn't really like the fact that there was very little humor in this second season. I mean, in the first season you had this dynamic going on between Marty and Rust, and some of their conversations really funny. Now, I don't remember laughing at all in the second season. So, and also the dialogue was kind of stiff and just strange at some points, especially the exchanges between Frank and his wife were just so stilled and over the top, melodramatic in a way, especially in the finale. It felt strange, but maybe that's because of the noir setting. It was sort of purposely done to get this whole atmosphere across. But I would have liked a more realistic dialogue for the second season. The music was amazing. I really want to seek out the soundtrack of this season. So yeah, so it was really moody, atmospheric. I know a lot of people. Some people just didn't just stopped watching the series after 1 or 2 episodes just because it was just too depressing. You know, it was just too moody for some, and I understand that. But I stuck with the series, and I'm glad I did. So it's a good series, and I'm looking forward to the third city, if there's one coming. I don't know, probably. So these are my thoughts. Hope you liked the video. Let me know what you thought of the second season, and see you in the next video.